Hi. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to 15.
215. I need my 15.
I got my numbers all mixed up here. Okay, we're continuing our musical studies with a focus on the elements of music.
Mm-hmm.
And recall in the first chapter, they made a distinction between melody, harmony, and
Rhythm.
rhythm. Thank you. We haven't done anything on rhythm at all, actually.
No.
But we've worked on various scales, and just recalling my recommendations: continue to learn your instrument. Number 2, learn to read notation, and number 3, become familiar with the keyboard. Now we've been making scales, and you may recall that in the notation system there is this thing called a
Flat and a sharp.
And would you explain in your own words how that works on it? Let's say
If you go up from an E to a black key, it's a sharp. If you go down to a black key, it's a flat.
That is correct. So I'm going to go a D, and if I go here, it's a what is it? D flat, and if I go here,
sharp.
Do you realize that if I go from here and I had an E sharp, it would become just an F? Do you see that?
Yeah.
Because you're used to that whole step, half step weirdness of this thing.
True.
Okay. So why don't you sit at the keyboard again, and we'll remind ourselves of some of those scales that use sharps and flats.
Okay.
First of all, play the C major scale like normal. Okay, and we know that it starts with the bass tone and then it goes up how much?
Whole, half, whole, half.
Okay, now let's start with the F. Find the F. Now slowly go do a F major scale. Very good. Now let's do a D major scale. Go, do that again. That was beautiful. D, please, D. And you can hear it in your head, right?
Yes.
We also had a little hint at harmony, meaning as soon as you have 2 notes together, we start to have harmony. And we can call that space a harmonic interval, right? There's an interval or a space between those 2 notes, right?
Correct.
And so why don't you, for about 20 seconds, do some different intervals. It doesn't matter how big they are. Just 2 notes, yes. Very good. That's beautiful. Okay, now is our big challenge. Would you play a E major scale? Well, why don't you start with this one? Does it slow down? Oh, no. Okay, slow down. Let's and we're going to go count our intervals, right? Start with a bass tone. Now a whole step, half, whole, half. Okay, let's do that again. Whole. See, and you get a lot of black notes in there, and it doesn't look right, but it's still based on whole, half, whole, half, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Now, the lowest note on your guitar is an E. I'm assuming that, we could play it here or here.
Yeah.
And now that you've played an E major scale, rather than going like this, trying to find those notes, let's start with the E, the low E. You can't go any lower than that. And we're going to go So you're playing an E major scale. Would you get your guitar, please? And we can take, I don't know how, maybe you already figured all this out already. Maybe not. There's your E. And we're going to go up to an F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, and so there it is. Okay, would you play that for us? Just keep practicing. That's good. Now we got the lowest note. Very good. Now, why don't we write that? So this is in the left hand and I'm acting like this is here. Or I'm acting like it's here. That's low. I'm not sure how they see it.
It's low.
Here is your E.
Okay.
Would you write in there, your second note is going to be an F sharp. See if we can remember how to put the F sharp in. F. Find the F.
So here's F, right?
It's on the below the line. Right.
And then you got to put a thing in front of it.
Yeah, you can make more space between them. So now you've got the F, and then now it's a G sharp.
That's on the line.
Yeah, on the line. Our next one is A.
That's in the line, normal.
Then a B. Then a C sharp. D sharp. And a E. Look how nice that looks. You got the sharps and everything on it.
Yeah.
Now, and then I think you could play looking at this key out, and then you could go down. So why don't you, how are we doing on time?
7 minutes, I see. 6.5 minutes.
Oh yeah, let's do that. And we can go down now. Beautiful. How does that feel?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Now, I'm going to show you another kind of scale, and then we can experiment with your guitar with this. This is what is called the chromatic scale. You've been playing C major scales, which means there are only 7 of the notes, right? And the 5 of them are left out. The chromatic scale is simply going up the scale one at a time. That is a chromatic scale.
Okay.
So what I had when we were learning your guitar, I started with a low E, a C major scale. Let's start. Can you find a C,
Mm-hmm.
and then go up? Let's just experiment with the torture of the chromatic scale. I thought the major scales would be more fun and easier, but let's start with a C. There it is. That's pretty high, but it'll go up. It'll go.
I can
Okay.
get a different one.
Why don't you go a lower one? Dum. Okay, let's go up the chromatic scale. Half a step. Every time it's a half step. There it was. That's good. Sounds nice. Now let's see. That's right. And then an E.
Well, I mean, you can just.
Okay. Now, so
You can just go
you
straight up.
right, and you can see, and it feels right with those frets, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now do that chromatic scale, just confidently and relaxing. So it goes da 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 da. And you're going up, yes. Good. Now let's do another major scale. Let's just hit an F, and we're going to do the F major scale. Hit an F. Can you find an F? There it is. And you're going to go major scale. Good. No. Okay, do that again. Saying F. No. No. Yeah. Whole step.
Actually, that's this one here.
No, that's just a B.
That's B.
You should a B flat. Play B flat.
B flat is nowhere.
Yes, it is. You played it before.
Nope. There's no B flat. I don't have it.
There's no B flat. Of course.
What
there's
about an A sharp?
Okay, go with A sharp. Good. Now up to a whole step. C. And a D. E. And a half step F. Very good. Can you play that with more confidence?
No. You have to switch strings, so it's difficult because you have to use a smaller space and switch
Okay.
the strings. Otherwise, you're
Okay.
just going.
Right.
You can just go.
You're playing a
You
chromatic
could do
scale
that,
right now.
but or you could just jump. You know, but you don't know you
you're
can't
now
play like
familiar with the difference between a chromatic scale and a major scale.
that. Yes.
So if I said play the chromatic scale starting with C, you could do it.
Yes.
And okay, if I say play the major scale in C, you go.
That I could, but it would take longer. That's it. So.
Okay, you're worn out.